Good morning. Hello, everyone. How are we doing today? So today I want to talk to you about how to heal your relationship with food and how to stop eating your feelings. So I'm Kelsie Michaud. I'm a certified health and life coach, and I help people to gain control over emotional eating so that they can just feel confident in their body and all of the choices that they make. So I want you to imagine if eating were just as simple as putting gas in your car, right? You'd fill up, right? And you want to fill up when that gas light comes on because it's that indicator for you that it needs more fuel. But we obviously can't do that to ourselves or our tank would just overflow. So for a lot of us, eating is anything but straightforward. Eating is actually this biological necessity. And it's actually our emotions that end up getting in the way. And other things that will get in the way, like our thoughts get in the way, any ideas that we have, any memories that we might have, and even rituals that we're used to doing. So food actually, it has this ability to take on all kinds of meanings for us. And that could be something like, it could be punishment. It could be to appease ourselves. It could be for a celebration. A lot of times we have cake for birthdays, right? We associate those two together. Or maybe we have an obligation to go to, right? Or, depending on the day or even your own mood, we may end up overeating. So there's all these things that come into play with when, why, and how much food that we actually eat. And understanding all of this, it just all depends on, what your situation is. But once we understand it, then that makes us much more aware of what's going on and what we're doing. And then we're better able to cope and do something about it. So with that, I want you to rethink your relationship with food today. And I have a couple of tips for you. I have 3 tips for you to help you to heal your relationship with food. So if you're here and you've come on, and I want you to say hello so that I know you are here, because sometimes I see the little numbers, but it won't show me name, but that means I don't know you were here until maybe after the fact, but I'd love to say hi to you, and if you catch the replay, #replay, so I can say hi to you as well. And if you have any questions, please just put it in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer those for you. So number 1, what we're going to do is reconnect with our hunger. So I know, first of all, hunger is what drives us to eat. And for many of us, a lot of times we associate the clock, what time it is, with what time it is to eat. It's noontime, that means lunchtime, right? We've learned that since we were little, since we were growing up. And sometimes we're not even listening to what our body is actually feeling or telling us. Maybe it's not even hungry. It might be noontime, but it doesn't mean that we're actually physically hungry. It's just something that we've learned over the years. Or maybe you are at that point, and then that means it's time to eat, right? Okay. Sometimes maybe it's midnight and you're like, all right, I need a midnight snack. Or, sometimes you're just feeling anxious and you'd rather just, bring on maybe some leftovers. Go in the fridge and pick out some leftovers in the fridge. Maybe that's what you're feeling. So many different things can come into play here. Or sometimes maybe you're just plain bored, okay? But the thing is, like, what really can get us sometimes is like maybe you went to work and somebody brought in donuts, and you're like, oh man, why'd they have to do that? I really love donuts. I'm trying to be good, but I'd really love to have one. And then all of a sudden, there's that inner talk going on. It's back and forth. Those voices are like a ping pong ball back and forth in your head. So the thing is, it's also possible to go in the other direction. Okay, because when we suppress our appetite, which can happen for many years, sometimes we get too busy, or we're too sad, or we're just feeling mad, and we, or you're thinking, okay, maybe nobody else is eating, or maybe it's too early in the day, or maybe it's too late in the day, or maybe we're just feeling too excited. There's so many different emotions that, as a human, that we can feel. So what you want to do is, and I do this with my clients, and I keep them accountable to this, is that you think about your hunger and fullness, okay? Think of it on a scale of like 0 to 10. And 1, like 0 to 1-ish, 0 to 2 is when you're just starting to feel some hunger. Now that might be different for everybody. You know, it might be different for you compared to somebody else, how you actually feel your hunger. And this is something that I get asked quite a bit, or even my clients are like, I'm not sure like what that even feels like. I'm just eating because it's a specific time and that's when we eat. But you need to stop and ask yourself, am I even hungry? Am I physically hungry right now? Because sometimes you're not. I have a client who she was making dinner just because it was time to make dinner, but she wasn't actually hungry at that particular time. Hey Kelly, how are you? So it's a matter of listening to your body and honing into those signals like, okay, maybe your stomach's growling. Maybe you get this pain in your stomach. Maybe you get a headache. Some people get headaches. Sometimes you could be lightheaded. Or sometimes you feel it kind of in the back of your throat. I always feel it in the back of my throat for sure. So these are some of the signals that, okay, I'm starting to get hungry now. Let's do something about it. It's time to eat. It's time to start preparing for food. Okay, those are the signals that when they come on, it's time. Okay, it's food time. It's time to refuel that body. Otherwise, we go past that, and we all know what happens when we go past that. We get too hungry, we get hangry, right? We've all been there, I'm sure, at one point or another, and then that's when the poor choices are more likely to happen. So when you start planning for food, when you're just starting to feel those hunger signals, your body sending you those signals within your body, that's when it's time to plan for food. That's when it's time to start getting food ready for yourself, okay? So, you don't want to get to the point to where you're starving, because that's when, like I said, we start to make like not the best decisions. And then there's the other end of our scale. There's our fullness scale. And now you want to eat until you get to a point to where you're like maybe a 7-ish on the scale. You don't want to get all the way to 10, because 10 is like, I'm so full, like I need to unbutton my pants. I'm feeling really uncomfortable, maybe even a little nauseous at this point. I way overdid it. Why did I do that? I don't feel good now. Why do I keep doing that to myself? You want to stop before you even get to that point, okay? You don't want to go anywhere near that point. You want to feel full, yes, but you want to feel full in a good way. You want to feel satiated and like you've refueled, so now you have energy, not tired and sluggish and just like, oh, why did I eat all that? You don't want to get to that point. You want to eat to the point where you feel good too, so that it feels good in your body, no matter what you're eating, okay? So whether you're eating a salad or some carrots or some cucumbers or an apple or some chicken or some ice cream or some pizza, regardless of what it is, you want to eat it until you're full and you're satisfied and you're satiated and you're good to go, you're refueled, you're ready to keep moving, okay? So it's also better to eat when you first get hungry, because you're also most likely to enjoy the food a lot more, because your first couple of bites, like that very first bite when you're truly hungry, tastes so good. And then as you start going through your meal or your snack towards the end, it may still taste good, yeah, but not as good as that very first bite. And that's when you know you're eating when you were truly hungry too. Okay, you weren't eating just because you were bored or you were feeling some sort of emotion. You're eating out of true hunger, and that's where you want to be. Okay, so number 2, let's feed your body what it is actually craving. A lot of times we're like, oh no, I can't have that. I'm craving it, I want it, but I can't have it. It's bad, or I'll feel bad, or I'll feel guilty, or I'll feel shame if I eat it. Let's like take all of that out of the picture. Let's look back on your relationship with food and what does it actually look like? Like, are you feeling like you're either dieting or you're binging, one or the other all the time? The thing about being on a diet is that having that diet mentality. Hi Kim, how are you? Thank you for coming on. So the diet is what tells you what to eat, right? Whereas on a binge, it's more like whatever's convenient, and it's like go all out on all these foods that are considered forbidden when you're on the diet. So, a lot of times this is what happens. We feel like we're either on the diet or we're binging. It's one or the other, because the diet is restriction, and restriction leads to the binging. So let me know if this is resonating for you. Is this something that you feel like you go through, you've gone through in the past? Let me know. Give me a hands up in the comments. And I know I've done this myself. I will raise my hand. I'm not shy about that. I will tell you that, yes, I've done that, and I did it for too many years, for way too long. I really restricted so much that, for one, I wasn't eating enough, and two, I felt deprived, and that's no fun. It's not a good feeling. And three, it's not a good feeling. It's just really not a good feeling. And then you binge, and I did. The weekend would come, and it'd be a free-for-all, and I'd go all out on the most unhealthiest foods ever. And sometimes I'd even be eating to a point where I wasn't even hungry. I was just eating it just because it was the weekend. And I'd come, just that guilty, awful feeling would come along. Hi, Suzanne, how are you? So it's not a good place to be. It's not a good place to live in. And we don't want to be there. That's why it's okay to give into your cravings. If you're having a craving for something, have it. Have it in a normal, healthy amount. Don't go all out like I did, like when I went crazy on it. Because now I don't do that at all, because I've learned to eat in a way where I'm honoring my hunger and my fullness, which I just talked about, and I eat in a way to the point that it feels good in my body, okay? So developing this different relationship with food means stepping out of those old patterns. So instead of actually listening to all these other opinions of diets and what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat, and instead tune into your own body and give it what it is truly craving. That's where the piece is. That's where the weight comes off, and it comes off your shoulders too, because I literally have felt that weight come off my shoulders now. It is so freeing. And it may turn out that you weren't even craving what you thought you really wanted, or that junk food, or you may actually start tasting things for the first time, because your own mind won't be filled with all this restriction and judgment and shame and guilt. Suzanne, good, and you're at your doctor's office watching. Well, thank you for coming on while you're at your doctor's office, and I'm doing wonderful today. Thank you. So you don't want, like, whether you're craving like a piece of pizza, or a salad, or a bowl of quinoa, like whatever it is, give it to your body and let it nurture your body. And because there's also that satisfaction factor, and there's got to be a satisfaction factor there, because if you're not feeling satisfied from whatever you just ate, your body's still going to be searching, because it feels like it wasn't satisfied. It wants to go still look for something until it does get satisfied. And that's why sometimes we continue to crave, because we didn't give it what it really wanted in the first place. So have that craving, have whatever it is you want, and have it in a way that is feeling good to your body. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If not, please let me know. Drop a question in the comments for me. And number 3, let's try not to use food as a reward or punishment, okay? It's not surprising that we do this. I hear it a lot. And, I've been guilty of it myself. And, after all, really, as children, we learned pretty quick that celebrating comes with, parties and cake and those kinds of things. And while we deem cake as bad sometimes, like, it's really not. But one of the greatest things about being an adult now is that, we can create our own associations with birthdays or even with cake, okay? Hi, Emily, how are you? Thanks for coming on. So you could have, like, say if it's a birthday party and you choose you'd rather have fresh fruit, then have fresh fruit. You don't have to have cake just because it's there. If that's what you want, great, have some, enjoy it. But if you prefer something else, then you can have something else too. Remember, you're the boss. You're the boss of your own body, and you can put into it what you want, okay? So say if you wanted to make, like, a crock pot of some nice homemade chili for a birthday or something like that, rather than getting like a traditional pizza or something, whatever it is that you are feeling, then that's where you need to listen to your body, listen to those feelings, and get more in tune to your body and what's going on inside, and give it what it actually prefers. Don't fight it, enjoy it. Really, what is life without joy? You have to enjoy, right? So celebrate in ways that you could possibly celebrate in ways that have nothing to do with food at all. If that's what you choose, because you are now able to set your own rules. And if you do choose to celebrate with cake and pizza and ice cream, then that's great too. Remember, there's no certain set of rules. We have grown up learning and living with rules around diet and food all of our lives. It's what our culture has done to us. And the diet industry plays right into that. And that's why they keep us on that diet merry-go-round. It's a vicious cycle. So you're able to, as an adult, make your own decisions and make good decisions for yourself. So give your body what it needs and what it's actually looking for. So I hope this was helpful for you. And if you have any questions at all, please pop it in the comments for me. I'm happy to answer them for you. And if you feel like this would be helpful for someone else, go ahead and share. And if there's no questions now, I'm going to hop off. But I hope everyone has a beautiful day. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.